Well, hello everyone. Good to be back with you again. So this is the morning of January 6th. It's just before sunrise. And I thought we'd take you on a ride to the backside. We're going to feed calves this morning. And so you can see it's a frosty morning. Temperatures have been cool. This is one of the warmer mornings that we've had this week. But even so, it's still on the cool side. That's me heading out with Michelle's little hydrostatic Kubota and the pellet feeder tied on behind there. And there you can see our 3-year-old bulls there in the bullpen, and they're eating pellets that Michelle just put out there. So they're going to head down through the tree cut here and go on back to the west side and feed those calves. It has dried out some. We've been wet here and muddy, of course, but it's been a while since we've had some rain now, and conditions are getting drier and warming up. So we've had not record cold temperatures, but certainly temperatures that are really uncommon, even for January for this part of Texas. We've been chipping ice out of the water tanks in the mornings, and that's just something that we don't do very often. But I think we had to do it 4 days in a row or something like that. And so, frozen hydrants and that sort of thing are things that we don't contend with typically. And we're not really equipped with our water delivery systems for... All right, so if you are observant, you've probably picked up on the fact that there's something funky going on with the camera. So indeed there is now something over part of the camera lens. And obviously it wasn't there just a few moments ago, and it is here now. So stay tuned to the end of this video to find out what caused that debris to become affixed to the camera lens. Obviously, had I known there was debris on the camera, I would have cleaned it and we would have continued the video from that point. So I learned of the debris on the camera really after I shot the video. So nevertheless, it makes for an intriguing story. So here we are, headed back to the backside. We now have kind of a well-worn path going across here, and since it's dried out, it's a pretty quick trip back here, really. This little hydrostatic tractor, it'll do about 5 miles an hour without jarring your teeth too much. Maybe 5.5 miles an hour. So we have her in middle range and just throttle up and foot to the floor. And it really is a nice little outfit. This feeder, this pellet feeder, works just incredibly well. And I can get 15 bags of pellets in there, which is just enough to feed the 127 head that we have back here in the bunks. So we've been using it now for, I guess, about 6 weeks, and we've made a few modifications to it, but we're real happy with the way that it's working now. All right, coming back here to the end of the big forested area. That's Dean's pasture on the left there. And the wean calves are going to be just up ahead there when we get on to the other side of Dean's place. Again, you can see it's a frosty morning, so everything's turned a little bit white. The leaves have come off the trees quite a bit with this cold weather, and things have turned pretty distinctly brown. There is a little green observable there on Dean's place, but that's relatively rare. And so he's got just a little volunteer ryegrass going in there, and that's why it's green. But everything else is pretty much turned its normal wintry brown, which I think it should do this time of year. And the leaves continue to come off the trees, and here in another month or so should be pretty well bare, and then we'll start getting leaves back on sometime in February typically. So here we are, January 6th. We're within 5 or 6 weeks now when we'll start to see the trees bud, and by the 1st of March we'll start anticipating wildflowers, and we'll be back into spring. Living in Nebraska, I always enjoyed fall so much because of the harvest, and particularly because of the harvest, I guess. You know, you've gone through the growing season, and the harvest is kind of the payoff. Down here, I love the springtime. You know, the colors and the flowers and the mild weather make it a really enjoyable place to be in the springtime. All right, so there's kind of the big cut that we have to drive through to get to the back side. And once again, I'm flying the drone and I'm driving the tractor and I'm drinking my coffee and trying to kind of keep it all together there. And the calves have come up to greet me, so they are well aware of where I'm at and are looking forward to getting some cubes, or some pellets rather. Michelle's not too far behind me. She's bringing a bale of hay, and I think she shows up on this video here in just a little bit. We're now feeding second cutting hay, so it's really high quality stuff. Cattle really cleaning it up well, including these calves. And so the feeding's going really well. So this is my first week back to work. So we had a week off there over the holidays, and had a 4-day week just ended. And we'll be back to pretty much normal business here coming up this next week. There you can see the wean calves. They're really doing well. They are gaining weight and staying healthy. So we haven't lost any. We don't really have any sick animals out here. So far, knock on wood, it's been a really mild, or really a kind winter to us in terms of animal health. And so just off ahead of me there and to the right is our bass pond. I'm going to need to come down there with the excavator and kind of clear out a pathway through here. The Yopon holly is kind of always a battle. It's always trying to expand its footprint and crowd into whatever open areas it can find. But with the excavator in an hour or so, I can have that cleaned up pretty good. All right, so I'm not sure what I'm trying to shoot there. I guess this is what happens when you're driving the tractor and driving the drone at the same time. But it does give you a little shot there of the cattle coming through. Going to meet me up here at the gate, and looks like they're pretty anxious for what's going to happen next. So this is another one of those gate entries where we built the vestibule so that we have a double gate and we can make sure that the calves don't get out on us. The calves do every morning show up right here at the gate, and if the vestibule wasn't there, there'd be some point here in the winter where some of them would come through and we wouldn't be able to get them back in. So the vestibule and the double gate pretty much assure that we're not going to have some kind of a catastrophe down here, and it really does work pretty well. All right, the last of them are kind of stringing on through there, and pretty soon I'll be able to turn this thing around and we'll head on up to the feed bunks. Usually they've got the feed bunks in complete disarray, and I have to get them reorganized before I can put any pellets out there, and this morning is going to be no exception to that. But they're light poly feed bunks, so it's not like a very big deal. It just takes a few minutes of time to put them back into a line. There's Michelle coming with a bale of hay. So she's, oh, nope. Nope, is that me or is that Michelle with a bale of hay? That's Michelle. Yeah, here she comes. So she's going to go fetch a bale of hay. She got one stored right there. And so she'll be out there spreading hay at the same time I'm putting the pellets out, and we'll have it all done at one little quick deal here. I was looking back towards the house and pond there. All right. Now you can see where I'm at. If you can see through the debris there, you can see where I'm at. Bringing all the calves up there to the feed bunks. And there's a nice shot looking south towards the highway. And the Catfish Pond was just on the left over there. You can see we've got our temporary panel set up just off to the right there of where I'm at right now. And we'll move the feed bunks inside of there anytime now. We'll start feeding inside there so they're comfortable coming in there, and then at some point we'll capture them in there while we feed them and get them hauled back over to the place, and we'll probably be selling some of these cattle yet in the month of January. Certainly we'll be selling them in February if not. We've got some in here that certainly there's no point in putting much more weight on them because we're not going to get much more value for that, and it's certainly going to be costly to do it. So I like to take the heavy end off and sell it, but to do that kind of need to bring them back to the place where we got facilities to do some sorting. Hard to sort out of what we've got built over here, but we can load out quite easily over here, and we've done it now for 2 years, so we kind of have it a proven concept there, I guess. All right, so I'm out getting the feed bunks organized here and dropping the spout down on the feeder so we can hit the bunks there. Cattle waiting impatiently as they do, but they're already cleaning up the pellets well. There's just 2 head in here that wait around for the hay. They just don't care for the pellets. I think this is the first year we've ever had a calf that didn't eventually catch on to the pellets and then at some point really get into it with vigor. But this year we've got 2 of them that very healthy, but just don't care for the pellets, so they wait around for the hay. And I'm out getting the bunks organized and straightened there. And Michelle by this time has gathered up a bale, and she's into the pasture with me as well. And you can see those 2 cattle just coming into view at the bottom of the screen. Those are the 2 that are waiting for the hay. They do not care about the pellets. And again, you can see more or less that they're healthy as they are, but they're just not fans of the pellet. And so she'll be unrolling that, and I think we've got 12 bunks here altogether, and so I put spread out about 750 pounds of these pellets across those 12 bunks. It gives everybody plenty of room. All right, back in the tractor now and ready to go. Here we go. And this pellet feeder doesn't dispense the pellets all that quickly, but it's so evenly, and with a hydrostatic drive on the tractor, it's just a perfect pairing. And you can really pace yourself to, when you hit the last month, you'll be out of feed. And it's a really nice little outfit. Kind of cold on cold mornings to drive over here, but it's not that far and it's not that cold, so it's quite a doable deal. After you get past about the first 3 bunks or so, all the clamoring starts to calm down a little bit, and the cattle start getting into the pellets, and they're a little bit calmer. Now you can see there's a pretty decent bunch of calves that are headed off there because Michelle's over there unrolling that bale of hay. And so this is the first day we've ever had some of them kind of demonstrate a preference to go on over and eat the hay as opposed to staying here and clean up these pellets. Usually we don't feed at the same time. We do the pellets and then the hay, so it's not an issue, but this here. Well, thanks for watching the video. Well, you want to know what happened in order for that debris to have gotten on the camera lens? Well, stay tuned, and in just a moment you'll see the explanation. Thanks for watching. Hope you're all doing well.